Guys, welcome to our coverage of Trial of Magneto. And of course, we got to bring back the A Squad. Returning is a Scotty Son.
Hi, everyone. Whoop, whoop.
And we got Hall of Fame, aka Sylvie, aka Petra.
Yeah.
Sorry, choke on my own saliva. Sorry. Oh, this is gonna be a fun recording.
This is cursed now.
Oh my god, it's never happened to me. I'm like I can't talk. Okay.
Off to a great start.
Off to a great start. That's gonna be stated. Okay. Now that I'm done choking on my own saliva. Trial of Magneto issue 2, guys!
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I just did an Insta Live with Gray Malkin Lane podcast. They thought it was brilliant. They think Trial of Magneto is a brilliant series. They said things that I agree with, that I thought there's some plots in there that are coming to fruition. But I'm not that wild about this issue.
Yeah, it kind of felt a little all over the place to me, a bit.
I love how Petra is just like, and just takes a sip of her drink immediately.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what I was reading. It was really like, where are we going with this? Not that I read it twice, and not to say that it was bad. On the second read, I was kind of like, okay, maybe they were trying to do this, and maybe they were trying to go there, but like you said, as Connie, they were just,
yeah. I just kind of felt like,
kind of.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like this issue was just kind of, right as I go. I'm not sure what direction to take this. Should I go down this route? Should I take this exit here? I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep going, and it'll go wherever. I'll end up wherever I go. So
I just from the beginning, when Magneto has to explain to Xavier, I have years of being able to block telepathy even without my helmet. I'm like, yeah, we do know that. Yeah, we do. Yeah. And Hope being there, and that's fine. I thought Hope actually was one of the better utilized characters in here, but I feel like she was a little too on the nose when she's here, tactical ways of extracting a confession, and I'm like, really? But you're going to do that to Magneto? He's on the council. Really? Do we really think that Magneto killed Wanda? And if he did, because this is a rogue council, they wouldn't ask, why did you kill your daughter?
Yeah, that question still has not come up.
Has anyone tried to ask this guy straight on, did you do it? They're going through all these, they're going through freaking Inception in the first 2 pages. And with Hope, who hasn't, where was Hope this whole time? I think Hope was the voice of reason in several aspects, as in you know what? I'm not cool about doing this. I don't think this is entirely, sanctioned. I don't know why we're doing this. Also, why is it me? Why is it not Jean or Emma? Where did Hope Summers just pop out from? Why are you there? And so she brought up some really good points, but then she just disappeared again. It was okay. All right.
I completely agree. I did question too, why was Hope there? And in regards, and she even said, why not ask Jean or Emma? Why not even try to get Betsy in there, or Rachel, use another experienced telepath to do this kind of interrogation, if you will, into Magneto's mind to figure out what's going on. But yeah, really, not one person so far has said, Magneto, did you kill Wanda Maximoff?
But they can just read it on the top of his mind. Either he did, or these are telepaths. These are Omega level telepaths. Again, Magneto can masquerade his thoughts from you guys on some levels, but you can pick up some thoughts. You can pick up emotions. You know what I mean? And once more, let's just say because of the ending, let's just say, yes, he did do it. Why? Why would you kill someone who is your daughter? No one is thinking to ask any motives. They've just accepted, matter of fact, it was him. And when Hope is oh yeah, why can't you get Emma or Jean? A, all these other telepaths, but B, yeah, why aren't Emma and Jean there? Oh, for diplomacy reasons, fine. Jean has to go greet the Avengers. I get it. I get why you have to have Jean greet the Avengers. But then Emma there to distract from the fact that they're doing resurrections there. And the only thing that I could think of was Krakoa is a fucking island. Just don't take them to the resurrection section of the island.
Why are you doing this?
Like, why? Like, Emma has to go as far as being like, we're all sunbathing here. There's nothing here. Why? Just go make a right instead of a left. They're not going to ask what. Like, make sure you pause resurrections for that hour. That the Avengers are there. No one's there naked screaming, mutants, mutants. Like, just maybe hold off on that. It seemed like such a lofty explanation for something that just didn't need to be a problem to begin with.
It was just shenanigans. Like all of a sudden, like we had pseudo inception in the first act where, and Eric is just like, yeah, hi, I know you're there. Like he's clearly not talking to them. Like he's clearly having a conversation. But like if I had people poking around in my mind, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Y'all go get lost with that shit because I'm not talking to you under these circumstances.
Mhm.
I think if somebody treated him like an actual like person with rights and dignity and just like, hey, old friend, let's talk about this. Not like, no, this is cool. Trust me, we're just gonna like go dissect his brain real quick and figure out like. And while he's there, like, yeah, I can see you. Like,
Yeah,
and then Jean is so much like when I don't know who says it, but they're like in this tunnel, and whoever says it is like, hell, we can't turn back now. Like we have to distract them from seeing that there's resurrections taking place. Jean, you have to erase all their memories, and she's like, oh, that's not ethical. And then clearly the ethical, like the superior ethical choice is to like put your weird clone daughters on display for Tony Stark to just let over.
Oh my God.
my God, Petra for the read. Yes, but again, I'm sorry. I'm going to maintain that they don't need to go there. They don't have to go there. It doesn't need to be a thing. Could just go that way.
Yeah, there is literally so much terrain.
I'm sorry. It happens to Disney World all the time. This site is under construction. We'll see you soon. That's it. Over here. Here's another ride for you. I'm so sorry, Michael. I cut you off.
No, you're fine. No, yeah, it was just that there is so much terrain for them to go ahead and traverse around. And it was Polaris that was saying to Jean, "Oh man, here we are getting ready to go to what was it, Arbor Magna or whatever," and that she needs to go ahead and erase their memories. I saw that scene though with Emma in the Cuckoos was kind of hilarious. Hilarious. I can't even talk right now. I'm trying to combine hilarious and Polaris together.
Hilariously,
right? But I found it so funny, just the interaction and how creepy Tony was being, with Emma.
Oh God!
I was like, oh, okay, dude, take it down a notch. All right,
Wow.
Jesus.
So we do know that in like the history of the Marvel Universe, they flash forward to the future, and that page that they flash forward to the future, some of the things have already come to pass, like the rise of the half breed, which is Hulkling and other things. But one of the things they mentioned is the wedding of Tony Stark and Emma Frost. And I wonder if they are now planting the seeds for that.
Oh, the world better get ready for that.
Well, that's a weird start.
Is it a weird Stark?
Oh, it's like all of a sudden she's using the old like Phoebe Cates distraction technique.
Exactly.
It's like an episode of Friends all of a sudden, or it reminded me of the first episode of WandaVision where she's trying to cook the dinner and everything's going haywire in the kitchen. She's like, distract them. Like, just, go to the store and get a rotisserie chicken. Like, it would have been so easy. Like, it was something where, like, just don't. Like you said earlier, this is like, why are we going through all of these shenanigans? And then like, oh, did you know Captain America's old? Hey, that's a funny joke. Or like, hey, I'm a creeper. Also a funny joke. Like, it's just all these little cliches that they're busting out writing wise. I'm just like, ugh, like,
yeah,
so hammy.
It just felt a little awkward to me, some of the beats in the story. I'm not saying that there's not, when I was talking to Gray Malkin, Chad was saying that there are a lot of hints in the story and he's enjoying it. And I was like, really? But he mentioned like the hints being more like concerning her murder, the white cape being in, whatever netherworld she's in right now. Maybe she possibly killed her own self, and that's something to consider. So on that front, I won't disagree. But I do feel like the plots on the story are a little awkward. And like what you said, Ascani, I feel like this is like the first draft of a story that was just written and then needs another round. Because I don't think, again, like I like Leah Williams. I think Leah Williams is a great writer. This just seems a little bit more rushed and haphazardly glued together.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, because that was my first reaction. Was I just felt like the story was a bit rushed and kind of not very well melded together, especially but I kind of now, having to have read it a second time, starting to kind of get an idea about maybe what's going on, because especially with the very end, how it closed out, how this issue closed out. Obviously, they made a point to show Mystique in there, which definitely hints at the upcoming Inferno limited series. But I have my suspicions now that what if Magneto and Hope are somehow working together? Obviously, because Hope and Wanda have this history due to the events of AVX, and perhaps there's some kind of scheming. I don't want to say scheming, but Magneto possibly utilizing her somehow to bring about Wanda's resurrection, to reinstate her possibly as a mutant again, because now we know that the Five are kind of going against the Krakoan protocols, resurrecting clones now, because they don't agree with this rule that Xavier placed that they can't be resurrected. So now my theory is that possibly Hope and the other members of the Five may have brought Wanda back unbeknownst to everyone else. So for what reasons, we have yet to find out. So
what do you think, Petra?
Well, Hope's clearly a bit of a wild card in this, because she clearly knows stuff. Also, I felt like this is kind of the I think so, like the first draft theory, or the issue that we're having with the story not being all that great. I feel like it was like flashcards. They put story points on it and then somebody shuffled them.
Yeah.
And this was all stuff that could have worked really neatly inserted into other aspects, but it can't, like, none of it is on its face bad, but all together in this issue, in this succession, it doesn't make for a strong showing, I feel. So Hope's a bit of a free agent, and she clearly knows something. And I found it was a little strange, but she was waking up Eric and saying, you must not let them find Wanda's body. And I was thinking, Wanda's body is like dissolved. Like, what happened? Like, she just like sunk into the roots, never to be seen again. Like, what do you mean by that? Or is this all not happened chronologically? Like, is this all just an unreliable narrative that we're dealing with here, but that it's not mentioned, that's supposed to be the way that it's meant to be read. But I'm just not sure. And then they're looking at the cradle, and then the helmet's gone, and then Rachel's going, Chrono's skimming it, and we're like, oh no, Magneto took it himself. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean? Like, where are you they're just throwing out these things, and then they're leaving it, and they're moving on to something completely different and changing the tone entirely. Like, I think the whole Emma at the pool thing, doing, the little, like, I don't even remember what movie it was, but all I can think of was Phoebe Cates just emerging from the pool, and like everyone just like losing their mind over it. Like, it's a woman in a swimsuit. You have seen that before, maybe, hopefully. But it was, I know it was supposed to be comedic, but it was just all like awkward, and really, it would have been funny in the 90s.
Yeah, I agree.
And these Friends, it's like a Friends episode. It's just that stilted humor where I'm just like, okay.
Like when Chandler and Monica are hooking up and Phoebe sees it and Rachel and her are trying to distract Ross from seeing it, like those kind of shenanigans. It's funny in that regard, but not for like the trial of Magneto where we're investigating the Pretender's death. Like this is huge. And the thing with the chrono skimming, like the only thing that, again, maybe I'm just reading too much into this. Maybe on an earnest level, it is Magneto and him and Hope are somehow doing something here. But I'm like, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, it could have been a shapeshifter. Why aren't the characters asking themselves these questions? Again, the story can go in any direction, but if you're building this as a mystery, if you're building this as like the dragnet of, of what's going on in Krakoa right now, I would be more curious to see some real investigation happening. There's a lot of action. I think there are some really great character moments. I love the Tony Stark and Emma thing going on. I'm here for a wedding. I don't think they're meant for each other. It's going to end in a nasty divorce, but I love that these two big personalities will throw the wedding of a century. I love it. I love that idea so much. But I think Captain America talking to North Star, being like, "How's Kyle? I met him at the Hellfire Gala." I thought that was really cute. And again, the scene,
so sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
And my husband, like, oh,
my husband, yeah, it's so cute.
And then Kyle shows up and then gets attacked by Magneto. I was like, what was that?
But like, this is like the thing I have with Magneto, like how people write him, like, so in X3, when Mystique gets shot with the cure and he looks at her and goes, "Oh, my darling, you're no longer one of us," and like leaves. I'm like, that's bullshit, because this is exactly what you are fighting to prevent. And one of your mutants, your right hand, literally just got shot with the cure. This is terrifying for you. Similarly, I don't believe they've welcomed Kyle into Krakoa. He's a Krakoan citizen. I don't believe Magneto would purposely harm him like that. I don't know. Again, I don't know if the characterization is supposed to be earnest or if it's supposed to be a red flag that there's something more nebulous happening behind the scenes.
Yeah,
it was Donald Glover coming into the apartment and the house was on fire. Like, that meme where he's like with the pizza box, like, "What's going on?" And everybody's just like, "Ah!" He's like, "What happened?" And then like Magneto's like, "Aha, you!" Ah.
Yeah, it's just right now. I mean, everything is just going in so many different directions, and right now, obviously, we don't know where it's going to go. To me, it's just, it doesn't seem like this how everything's transpiring right now. And again, to go back. Yeah, why isn't this being treated as some kind of murder mystery or investigation? But yeah, I mean, why are they not asking questions? Why are they not questioning anybody else on the island? Why is it strictly Magneto only? It's just the most bizarre thing. And it's, I don't know. To me, it just comes across as this story not needing to be a story in its own. Like it could have been in with, an issue of this series, an issue of that series, kind of like it just doesn't read like it needed to be its own thing so far.
Okay, but like, so Wanda is dead. The Avengers are there. They're not asking questions. Like they're just like, okay, we'll take a tour of this island. Oh, by the way, and I cannot believe the audacity that they rendered Jean hugging Wasp. That to me is like the biggest sin ever. Like, no. Like, Jean, you have no idea what this bitch has done for the mutants, like to the mutants. Like, she is the reason you guys are here. But anyways, I just felt like, wouldn't the Avengers be like, "Hey, we need to talk about what happened here. We want a debriefing on how Wanda died." Do they all of a sudden trust the X-Men? Is this no longer an issue? Because last time we saw, Captain America was not having those mutants on Mars, the Arakos on Mars. So like, wouldn't this be Captain America being like, "Listen, what is going on here? Like, you colonize a planet without anyone knowing, and now one of our A-list Avengers is found dead at your gala. Like, I want to sit down. I want to talk to Xavier. I want a debriefing with your council."
Yeah. See, that's a great point. And again, they didn't need to do this in Krakoa. Why couldn't they have just met them at the X-Men's headquarters in New York City?
The treehouse.
Treehouse. Exactly. They have a section there where where you can have these types of meetings. So it didn't. Yeah. Again, you could have avoided that scare of them having to go into where resurrections happen, when you could have just brought the Avengers to the X-Men's home base in New York City to have this conversation. And then if they needed to, go to Krakoa, talk to this person, talk to that person, try to do some kind of investigation. But instead, I mean, it's just, I was like, okay,
Yeah, and I just don't understand. Like, so Magneto starts attacking the Avengers, saying that the Avengers need to leave Krakoa, or else I'm going to kill one of my citizens. Like, why do the Avengers care? I mean, really, if we're going to play this card, okay, you're going to murder your own. Like, that sounds pretty bitchy, like,
Sucks to
be the first
you,
time.
Bye.
yeah, it won't be your first time. Like, I don't understand why those stakes are there to begin with. Like, I like Kyle. I don't want Kyle to die. And even though I was kind of like, wow, North Star's like really going crazy here, like get out everything. Like, I was like, well, you know what? Fine, fair. That's a fair reaction. But I was just like, Magneto, like there's no logic being governed with how these characters are acting.
Mhm. He just flips his lid on, like, I mean, I understand that, like I said earlier, if I'd been treated that way, yeah, I would react very poorly to it, because nobody's addressing the man in any sort of respectful way or any way. Like, nobody's asking him a civilized question. They're knocking him out, they're stabbing him, they're beating him up, they're like, he has rights, like they have some version of their Miranda rights, I guess. Like, nobody asks him anything, nobody tells them, hey, this is due process, you're like, you have to comply. They're just kind of ambushing him, rendering him unconscious, and they're poking around in his mind, and then like they're waking him up and saying, yo, go do that thing now. Like, okay, cool. And then there's another group of people getting in his way, and honestly, you're inviting a dude to your table who literally goes by Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
Why is Magneto always the butt of the joke? Like, why does everybody just beat up on this guy? Seriously. And like, it's always just, he just loses his mind on like from one panel to the next. It's like he just comes through like the Kool-Aid man, like, okay, we're fighting now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fighting. For me, it was just really like, if they want the Avengers off Krakoa, I just feel like there was a bunch of other more tactful ways. And like, I don't even think it was like, don't let her claim, don't get them off Krakoa, just don't let them see her body. Which, to my question is like, well, how much time do you got? Because eventually they're going to have to claim a body. Like, do you need an hour, Hope, or what? But obviously then the issue takes a turn. Oh, wait. Before we get into the big reveal at the end, Magneto's read of Polaris's education.
Oh my God. Savage.
Mean. That was so mean. Never mind that I personally don't think Magneto would say something like that. That seems too below the belt for Magneto. But that's just my opinion. He said it. Wait, what did you guys say? I was just like, man, he is mean. He would never say that to Wanda. Would never say that to his favorite daughter.
Nope. I don't know. To me, I just thought it just kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I did chuckle at that. And then North Star asking her, did you get an A? And she's like, no, but I got a PhD out of it, so it's fine. It's just like
that kind of proved me right. Again, where he, last time where he was like, well, you're unstable and you're not applying yourself. So like, you designed this whole thing for your doctoral thesis and you didn't get an A. Like, did you just have like a thesis full of typos, or what happened?
God, Lorna, you're so stupid.
I just picture Lorna
Dad.
in her wedding dress with like the helmet, like Magneto helmet, like typing on a keyboard, going crazy, feverishly typing, like not making any sense. But they're like, well, but she built this, so great. Like,
we don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool.
But then, you know what? The other thing that kind of brought up, and again, this is world building that we haven't seen yet. I'm like, well, Lorna has a PhD from a human university. Does Krakoa have a school now? I mean, because here's somebody I haven't asked in the last year and a half. The X-Men are founded on an idea that they are a school that helps people master their abilities. Is there a school on Krakoa? Is there a university on Krakoa? Like,
the issue of peer review is the difficult one. Like, your thesis has to be defended to, peers in your field. And like, how are you assessing this?
Yeah, like look, crazy, cray Poe. Let's just say she's back in her Chuck Austin days. Even at her worst, can at least show her iPhone and be like, "I made this. I made this," and like, perfect. Like that seems like an A to me. Like, how many of you in this PhD program just created this beautiful structure on a new nation? No one. So maybe we give her at least an A minus. But yeah, that threw me off. It just took me a little bit out of the story again. Like it my personal feelings aside of if Magneto would say that, it just felt like an odd beat or an odd exchange. If they're going to go below the belt, I just felt there could have been a little bit more there. But what about that ending? Let's get into it. Wanda manifesting and giving Vision a hug.
I like the look on Vision's face, like, what's happening here? I'm going to go back to my theories that I think that this is possibly her having been secretly resurrected by Hope and the Five for whatever reasons unknown at the moment. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't give us a lot to work with. That was another thing.
They really didn't.
I feel like this is a series of interludes that has been like pieced together into issue number 2, and there's no cohesive plot points to like propel it forward. It's just kind of now all of a sudden you had Magneto on trial for a murder for 1 3/4 of an issue that now has been undone.
Yeah, it kind of resolved itself somehow.
So is he not on trial anymore? Or are we like, what? Like, what do we do now? Because all of a sudden, also the way she comes back, she's like, "Here I am, guys." Like it was like all of a sudden we're in this weird like romantic comedy ending, and everybody's just like, "Yay!"
It was a very Mary Poppins moment. I feel like she should have just descended with an umbrella.
Wanda Poppins
coming down. Chimney, everyone.
My favorite thing out of that issue was the term vestigial confetti. Yes, whoever came up with that is the one thing I will take away from this vestigial confetti. I want that on a t-shirt.
Same.
I gotta say that I'm surprised that has we already got to that point of the story. I mean, I would have figured that would at least happen maybe at issue 3 and then resolved by issue 4. It just seemed, I don't want to say premature right now, but I'm just kind of surprised that has already happened with this issue.
So right before she comes, Magneto says, "No, that's not what I want, but I do want you to leave." And the Avengers are like, why do you want to stop us from taking Wanda's body? Like they read him really quickly there. And he goes, none of you know what home means for Wanda. I did it. I killed the Scarlet Witch. I murdered her. So I don't know why this is Magneto's tactic to get them off the island by confessing to murder. For me, it's like they're going to want to stay now longer than before.
We got to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. But then Wanda's like, I'm afraid I have to disagree with that. And then she just Mary Poppins, as you said, Ascani, her way down. And everyone's like, ooh. And Mystique is like, this should be interesting. And then goes to hug Vision. But so 2 theories I've seen. One, I think the solicitations say that there are 2 Wandas. So maybe there's a Wanda in whatever netherworld she is. And this is like the manifestation of chaos. I think some of the solicitations said something about chaos is loose on Krakoa or whatever, no sé. And then that this is Hope using everyone's powers to masquerade as Wanda.
I read that, yeah.
The only thing I would also say is Jean Grey is there, an Omega level telepath who could pick up that something's not fine. Hope is the voodoo doll of the mutant race. She can absorb every power. She has every tactic in her. But this is Jean fucking Grey who could just be like, no.
I mean, if anything, we'll probably if she's going to do that, we'll probably see that by the next issue. I think they just want to kind of give us that shock value right now that Wanda is alive again, and here she is. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of scenario involved where Jean is definitely going to have to read her mind and figure out what's going on here. How is she here?
Well, even Emma, anyone, Logan can smell her. Like those are the only little qualms I have. With that ending. But sure, yeah, you're right. It's a cliffhanger ending. Next issue will pick up, I'm sure, with that. But I don't know, guys. I wasn't too happy with it. I'm sorry, and I'm not a critical person, and I think this is still a well, done book, but the story's just not resonating with me. I've never made that noise on this podcast before, by the way. I've never gone.
Yeah, it just again, it just seemed like it was just all over the place. It didn't really have a specific direction it wanted to go. I mean, you had this happening, you had that happening, and then it just ends with this happening, and you're just kind of like scratching your head. Okay, do we just accept this? I mean, you just shrugging your shoulders.
It was really like that, where it didn't have that red thread, or even like, I want to point whoever, because I'm not disappointed in Leah Williams. I'm just like, where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Can I just point you to any of the like BBC procedurals? Do you just want to watch Murder on the Orient Express real quick? Because that's how you string together unrelated events into a story that makes sense at the end. Or even I referenced Knives Out earlier, which is so kooky and so strange and so like not at all what you expect. But then at the end, like when you thread it backwards, it's like, oh no, it all makes sense now. So I think for me, it's mostly that I was just waiting on something different. Like I had all these theories in the first issue. And even before that, I was hoping for something. And then when I read the first issue, I was like, okay, fine. I'm not getting that, which, was a long shot, but fine. I'm going to see where this goes because there's a lot of potential here. And now I'm just like, what? Because it was so hammy and heavy handed to me where,
Hammy is a great word.
No. Yeah, it's just, no, I get it. Tony Stark is a lech. No, I get it. Captain America is made out to be this blushing virgin who can't keep his act together on a woman in a one-piece swimsuit. Ooh, calm down. And like also like Magneto's bed is made for 10 people. Like,
oh my god, but Zaddy looks so hot in his silk bed. I was like, Zaddy, I want to join you. I mean, if he was Joseph, I would be so happy. Like if he was Joseph.
But like reading glasses, yo.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, I'm a big Magneto fan, but I'm like, if the man reading glasses, I was like, that's just not fair. But I digress. But it was just very every, like, I don't even want to call them acts. Like every little segment just had an element of something like, oh, I really like that about Inception. I'm going to do that. And then I really like that vein of comedy. So I'm going to do that. And then I really like that vein of the dramatic reveal. So I'm going to play it that way. And it just didn't, it was more written with the characters as placeholders for whatever they were trying to do versus making sense for like, Magneto flying off the handle at every turn in this series is just getting old now. It's like, are we just going to have a brawl in every issue? Is he just going to want to beat somebody up for no reason whatsoever? Like, oh, no, don't do this because... Like, and yeah, when he was like, oh, no, okay, fine, I did it. Like,
I think really the overall issue that we're all having is just, and, correct me if I'm wrong, the main denominator of this is the fact that they just went right for Magneto head on and there was no other potential suspect they sat and questioned or even thought about. It was just, okay, Wanda's dead. Magneto did it. Let's confront him. Let's figure this out. Do everything else except for simply just talk to the man and ask that one question: did you kill Wanda?
Well, and I think to what both of you are saying, like I think a good series like this, you want to loop the reader in. And exactly what you were saying, Petra, we want to be able to look back and we want to be able to be like, oh, this all makes sense. Instead of seeing like these random like events that sort of strung together, like, yeah, of course we're going to be able to look back and be like, oh, this is how she died. And so that makes sense why they dropped that there. But like, there is no real substance in like the mystery itself. And it just feels more of an action comic. I mean, that's fine. It's not what it was meant to be. Some of the characterization, some of these reactions feel a little hammy, over the top, when this is a serious issue. This is Marvel's A-list character who was murdered. The entire world is watching on Wanda, and literally, and this is the story you're going to go. It doesn't feel big enough of an event for me anymore. Now I'm just thinking This feels more middle of the road. Like if at the end of this, they turn her and turn her back into a mutant, I'd be like, wow, well, I'm genuinely surprised because the event just doesn't have that scale to me just yet. It doesn't feel like even Access, for as flawed as Access was, felt like an event level, crossover. This feels like, epilogue to X Factor.
Yeah, that was what I was saying about how I feel like this didn't have to be its own limited series. This could have been an in-story event.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. I don't know, guys. I don't have anything else to say other than I do have an open heart, and I do like Leah Williams as a writer. She's proven herself before, and I do like the art quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll just see where it goes. Next issue. Hopefully, it's not as crazy.
Right. It's 5 issues, right?
Yep, 5 issues.
Oh, is it 5? I thought it was 4. Well, damn. I mean, you already give this reveal by issue 2. What are you going to do for the next 3?
This is so quick. So now, now okay. Is he not on trial anymore? Now there's not a crime anymore? I don't think it's all happening very quickly and very disjointedly. So who knows? But I'm going to try to see where it's going, because it's clearly not what I was thinking it would be. It's clearly not what I expected it to be, and it's probably not what I want to get out of it, but I hope it's still good in its own way.
I hope at the end, we're invested, we're buying it, and I hope at the end I'm like, you know what, but not that bad. Now that I've seen the whole thing, not a bad story, but as of right now, I am disappointed.
I just my biggest issue right now, because Inferno is going to be starting this month. How is this happening while that's happening? It's just, that's why I feel like this could have been a weekly issue, and then it ends right before Inferno begins. So you kind of have that easy, like that proper flow into the next story. Or they could have just, again, made it an in-story issue where it just kind of like, okay, this issue of X-Men, this happens, and then X Factor's canceled, New Mutants, then Excalibur. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it needed to be its separate thing.
Yeah.
So
we'll see where it's going, and we will obviously all reconvene when that comes. Petra, where can the folks at home connect with you?
I am on mostly Instagram, sometimes on Facebook, at all of them, and I will be in Dallas at Dallas Fan Expo this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if this comes out and you are there and you are local, come find me. I don't have an inside voice, so you'll probably hear me before you see me, because I won't talk about this.
God, I would die.
And we love it.
I would Wanda level die if I saw you at an expo.
So
if
not
I heard
at all.
You. So not at all.
So not at all.
Not at all. And what about you, Ascani-san? Where can the folks at home connect with you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at mdbrower81 and on Twitter at mikebrower81. And I'm on Facebook every now and then. All you have to do is just type my name, Michael Brower. You want to be my friend? Come on over.
Come on over. And you did a shirt for Power of X-Men that's on sale right now.
It is. So check it out.
It's so great. It's Doug Ramsey with the little warlock head hovering over him. Love it. All right, guys. Well, rate and review this podcast. I need to get better at saying that. And email us if you have any questions. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.